All right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 536 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. It feels great to be back. It feels great to be back doing this. Hopefully, all is well with you guys. The move is pretty much complete, and getting things settled in here. Different area that I'm in. I know you guys probably hear a little echo. I'm going to fix that. I didn't bring my sound panels with me. My sound panels is at my other house. But I'm going to get some sound panels in here to get the echo out of the way because I can hear it right now. But nevertheless, we're going to keep rocking and rolling. And I want to thank everybody who's been patient, keeping up with me, watching the videos that I've been making, even though I wasn't doing episodes. I want to thank you guys. You guys mean, the world. I really, really appreciate it. I mean, I love what I built here, and I love the fact that I can keep it going and keep it rolling in the midst of everything that's been going on with basically moving from South Carolina to the Atlanta area. And the move has just been fantastic. And maybe one day I'll do a whole video on why this is taking place, why I decided to move, and all these other things. We'll get into that at another time. But we're going to talk about what's been going on with the Falcons. Are they eyeing Nolan Smith? Are they eyeing Lamar Jackson? What's up with Anthony Richardson, and how not only Richardson but Nolan Smith both did phenomenal jobs at the combine. I mean, these guys pretty much knocked it out of the park to where Anthony Richardson's stock has just exploded. And I'm not sure too much about Nolan Smith, but Nolan Smith fits everything that we would want on the defense. I mean, size, speed, athleticism. If you look at what we've done with Troy Anderson and D'Angelo Malone and other guys that we want around that front seven, Arnold Ebiketie, you want guys that are athletes, and this guy is exactly what the Falcons are looking for. Will they pick him? I'm not sure, but I want to talk about all three of these guys. Lamar Jackson, you already know what it is. There's been reports about him having a non-exclusive free agent, non-exclusive franchise tag or something like that. So with that being said, he can be had if you match a contract that the Ravens don't want to match, or you can make a contract that they don't want to match, and you can get him for 2 first-rounders. Honestly, the 2 first-rounders for Lamar Jackson is almost like stealing, in my opinion. But is it worth it for the Falcons? Well, we're going to talk about all of that. I mean, it's a lot to talk about in this episode, so hopefully we'll get to all of it. I don't see why not, but I'm excited to do so. If this is your first time here, welcome. This is the First and Frame Rate Show. I talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. There's not much talk on Georgia Southern front. Georgia Southern is in the process of, revamping what they did last year. Year 2 of Coach Clay Helton is on deck, and the guys that he brought in and the work that they're putting in, if you've been following that Georgia Southern football Twitter feed, those guys look like they really want to make something happen. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that goes. More news on that later, but with the combine going on, the draft is around the corner, the Falcons are pretty much moving and shaking. There's a lot of talk about the quarterback position, how they feel about Desmond Ridder. They're excited about year 2 of Desmond Ridder. They're excited about bringing many athletes or many football players in who can help this team win some football games, win a lot of football games, win some championship football games. So Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot really want this to happen. And I'm really excited that we have guys in the front office that can do that or that want to do that. But in some cases, that will come at a cost. And we have to understand if this is what we want the cost of winning, if you want to bring a Lamar Jackson in, do you want to build with, guys like a Nolan Smith or even the Anthony Richardson? Do you bring another quarterback in that could possibly compete with Desmond Ridder? But we're going to start with Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith, for full disclaimer, I'm extremely biased for Nolan Smith, and I'm gonna tell you, pretty much why. It's not because he's wearing the red and black. I don't too much care for the Georgia Bulldogs as much as I used to. But what I will say is that Nolan Smith has is from Savannah, Georgia. That's my hometown. With that being said, I'm not 100% sure, but I think I know some people in his family. I think I grew up around his dad or whatever the case may be when we were very, very young. So I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to be biased on that front. If Nolan Smith is the guy I think he is, and, you know, I'm definitely going to ride with him because I want to see all the people from my childhood win. You know, you see another guy from Georgia, Kamari Lassiter. I've been friends with his dad since the second grade. I know Richard Lassiter, you know, very well. Very, very well. So Kamari, I want to see him make it to the NFL. And Nolan Smith is another guy that I think, I can't 100% be sure because I don't really follow, you know, a lot of people from my childhood like that, but I think that he is. Nevertheless, so disclaimer, I'm a big homer for guys like him, and with Kamari Lassiter, you're going to hear that name a lot coming through the pipes in college football. But with that being said, I'm a very big proponent of guys from my hometown to win, and I want to see this kid make it big in the NFL. Not just if it's with the Falcons or not, but just in general. And what he's done at the Combine was very, very impressive. 4.39, you know, 41 plus inch vertical. You have this stature of a linebacker / edge rusher, and you have these type of moves. This kid's a freak of nature. You can put this kid almost anywhere in that front seven, and that bodes very well for the Falcons. You already got a guy who can do stuff like this with, with Troy Anderson. He fits that mold of an athletic freak. All things to the side, I think he's better than Troy Anderson. And that's not a knock on Troy Anderson. I just think this guy is a bona fide freak of nature. But you put him on the other side with Ebiketie and Grady Jarrett, and you got Troy Anderson and Rashawn Evans up in that front seven. You're going to have a nasty-looking front seven. And if you want to get at the quarterback, this is what you do. Now, there's other guys, edge rushers, that their stock has went up. But like I said, full disclaimer, I'm very biased. I'm very biased for Nolan Smith. Very biased. And I'm going to stick with that. If this is the defensive guy that I think we should get, like I said, I know there's a Will Anderson out there that I like. There's a couple other edge rushers that I thought of, the guy from Clemson that I talked about as well. But for a guy who actually was injured, so you really didn't get to see everything that he can do, but you saw the things that he done when he was healthy, and come to the Combine as, for all intents and purposes, basically like fresh, very fresh legs, fresh muscles, and was able to do all these things. At number 8, I don't see how you don't go get this guy. Even if you trade down, you may be at risk of losing out on him because people want Anthony Richardson, which we will talk about. You will talk about him later. But when you talk about a guy like Nolan Smith and what you want to do with your defense, and you also think about the defensive coordinator we just brought in, this is the guy that you would want. I mean, him and Ebiketie, Grady Jarrett, those 3 guys on the line is going to be something serious. So the logical pick for me would be a guy like Nolan Smith. I'm not saying this is the guy that they pick because I hit the nail on the head last year with Drake London. I'm not ready to say that right now with Nolan Smith. But if you look at what type of defense that the Falcons want and the guys who they bought in already and the guys who they drafted already, Nolan Smith hits that on the mark 100%. So that's as of right now, I'm definitely leaning towards the Falcons picking this guy. Absolutely. Now, when we look at the quarterback situation, Lamar Jackson with the situation I talked about earlier, there's going to be like some non-exclusive franchise tag on him where another team could offer him a deal, and if the Ravens don't want to match it, he will go to that team, and in return, the Ravens will get 2 first-rounders. Now, like I said, the 2 first-rounders for Lamar Jackson is a steal. There's no denying that. It's a steal to pick this guy. But when you're in a situation like the Falcons, what kind of deal are you going to put out there? There's been reports that he wants, guaranteed money. There's other reports that he wants what people say, the bag. Do we really put ourselves in a situation where we put that much money out there and can't put anything else together for the rest of this team? For me, I feel like we really need a stout defense to make things happen. And for what it's worth, our defense did enough to hold teams under 20, 21 points. To be honest with you, if you're in the NFL and you can hold a team to around 20 to 21 points, you should be able to win a lot of those games. I mean, I talked about this before. I don't want to go back into it again and reiterate that. But there's plenty of times where the Falcons lost games 20 to 19, 15 to 21. We hold Tom Brady in them to 21 points. We were holding a lot of teams around between 17 and 21 points. If we had competent quarterback play, we should win at least 90% of those games. And I'm not joking. I really believe that. So if you still get a Lamar Jackson here with the defense that we have now, we add a few pieces here and there, and, we replace some pieces, and, we still keep the same type of production on defense, you could say it's a win-win for the Falcons because you get a franchise quarterback. You still can put pieces together. And if you can still hold a team down to around 19, 20 points with Lamar Jackson at quarterback in the offense that we have, we may be successful. That sounds very ideal. Now, me personally, I think he's going to want too much to the point where we can't sign players that are actually going to make a difference. We're going to be holding on to their life to the point where we may not be able to hold teams at that point. We may not be able to hold teams to around 21 points. It may be a lot of shootouts. And to be honest, I like Lamar Jackson, don't get me wrong. But I don't want to say this in a negative light, but it's just going to come off that way. I don't trust Lamar Jackson's arm in repeated shootouts throughout the season. Maybe one or two, you're in one or two shootouts throughout the season because the defense can't hold anybody. I think Lamar Jackson's going to be fine. But I don't think if we have 10, 11, 12 games like that, I think we're running the risk of actually, doing more detriment to Lamar Jackson and the team than we thought we could. Because don't get me wrong, he can run with the best of them. He's a very good mobile quarterback. But in some cases, if you're down by a lot of points, you're going to have to get the ball out and score very fast. Running the ball doesn't do that. But if we can get a defense that can hold what we have to 20-something points, 21 points, we may have something there. So, gut feeling at the end of the day, I don't think we get Lamar Jackson. I think he probably end up staying a Raven. It would be nice to have a dynamic player if we can have things to complement him. But I don't want to get a guy and he has nobody, we're basically don't have anybody on defense. I mean, offensively, you have Lamar Jackson to this offense, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Tyler Algier. You get another, a legit number two that can hold on to the ball. You're going to have some success offensively. But at what cost on the defensive side of the ball? Maybe we draft very well and continue to expand. It's a lot of variables there. Gut feeling, I don't know if that's the way to go, but I'm not against it if it happens. I'm Team Ritter at the end of the day. I lean towards getting Ritter in there and having him be able to develop as a franchise quarterback. But if they do go at Lamar Jackson, I just hope they have everything else in order to have this team to succeed. Because, offensively, like I said, I don't think the offense will have a problem. Defensively is where I'm going to have a problem with. Now, this goes to Anthony Richardson. There's been reports that Anthony Richardson, the Florida quarterback, looking very good at the combine, and a lot of people are probably going to try to jump up to get him. With that being said, you're going to have maybe 4 quarterbacks probably going to be leaving out of the top 8, which, if that's the case, the Falcons could go ahead and trade down, get more picks, and get more defensive players. I.e., if you move down to 11 or move down to 12, Nolan Smith may still be there. Will Anderson may still be there. You're going to get a good defensive player if you trade down a little bit, if these quarterbacks start going off the field, off the clock. And with that being said, you're going to be able to get more pieces because you have more draft picks. Now, these are two scenarios that I want to address. Do we get Anthony Richardson at number 8 and go ahead and have a quarterback competition? I already said that I'm not against the Falcons getting the quarterback because of the fact that Marcus Mariota is gone now. What we're going to be dealing with is Marcus Mariota absence is going to have us in a situation to draft a quarterback and sign a quarterback. Now, I said this also. I don't think, and I'll be really surprised that if we get a quarterback in the first 2 rounds, Anthony Richardson would have been that quarterback if he didn't show out as well as he did. He would have been that quarterback in the 2nd or 3rd round, late 2nd, early 3rd. And I'm dead serious. I think after the C.J. Strouds, which I think that the Falcons are actually high on, which we will touch on that in a different story or different episode. I think the Falcons are high on C.J. Stroud for some reason. Got Stroud, Bryce Young, Will Levis. After that, there was a drop-off. Anthony Richardson comes to the combine and wows a lot of people. Stetson Bennett is another guy that people are talking about. I thought Anthony Richardson would be that 3rd round quarterback. He shoots up to one of the top 4 quarterbacks, probably above Will Levis. And it's something that you really want to think about now. What do the Falcons do? Do they bring in that competition? Do they wait later on and get Stetson Bennett, which honestly, that's actually not a bad idea either. If you can get him in the 3rd round or whatever, bring him in and then you sign a veteran and you have some type of quarterback controversy, may the best man win. Whoever wins, wins out. Whoever don't, trade him off. You have a lot of options with this as well, but I'm not sure that the Falcons will go after Anthony Richardson due to the fact that his stock is too high. You can get more pieces by trading down, and from what all reports are telling me as well, that they're very high on Ridder. I want Ridder to be QB1, personally, and I think with that being said, I think that that will be the ideal thing. Have him QB1. Draft a quarterback in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th round. Somebody could be a project. Bring a veteran in to actually, compensate Ridder if you need a backup to come in, and roll with that for at least a year. You roll with that for at least 1 year, and then you're probably talking about who's going to be a franchise quarterback down the road. Does it sound popular? No. Does it sound something that is, ideal? Yes. Is this something that people may want to hear? No. I don't think people want to hear it, but to be quite honest, that's probably the safest thing to do right now. Because Ridder did show promise. We have to understand, Ridder did show some promise in 4 games, and he is whole offseason knowing that he could be the starter now. He's learning a lot more. He's going to see things a little bit different from the time he was a rookie. And you actually give him a chance to grow. A lot of these quarterbacks now that are elite, they had some time to grow. Patrick Mahomes sat for a year. Justin Herbert had growing pains, but look at him now. You look at other guys that are, Josh Allen went through pretty hell his first year and a half. I mean, when you saw him come in, he did some boneheaded stuff, but now he looks like he's all right. You got a couple of guys that are out here that actually can do some things as well, who've been around 1 or 2 years, and they're actually going to be, I think they're going to be all right. I think Desmond Ridder at least deserves that benefit of doubt to see what happens with him. Even if you bring in another rookie quarterback, it's just QB competition. But from what I hear, they're really high on Ridder. So I'm not sure how that's going to go, but we could be in a situation where we're going to have good quarterback play regardless. I think you bring Anthony Richardson in, you're going to have good quarterback play. You get a quarterback later on, Ridder's going to be your quarterback. You're going to have decent quarterback play. You're going to have good quarterback play. You bring a veteran in to back up if something happens, that veteran that we signed should be good enough to keep this going. Lamar Jackson, if he comes in, you already know what you're getting with that. You're going to get a good, level of production at quarterback with Lamar Jackson. I feel a little iffy about his arm. I think he can throw the ball very well, but I just don't want to bring him in a situation where his defense is letting him down because we don't have all the pieces that we want. At the end of the day, if you do get Lamar Jackson, you're going to have to draft very well or see if you can get some players for slightly cheaper than you want to get. But nevertheless, I think the Falcons are still in a really good situation. Either way, I think they're in a really good situation. You already know how I feel about it. I don't, really want to repeat myself. Desmond Ridder, QB1, build around him, get a lot of pieces around him, even if it's another quarterback to back him up or whatever the case may be, or if that quarterback comes in and beat him. Either way, you still got a rookie quarterback that you can build around. So let me know what you guys think. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It feels good to be back. I'm so happy that this is going the way it's going. I want to thank you guys for the support. I really appreciate it. If there's an echo, please bear with me. I'm going to get some sound panels in here so the sound don't bounce off everywhere. And we're going to get this rocking and rolling. We're going to get this thing back up and running. 536 episodes in. You guys are amazing for supporting. I can't be remiss if I don't mention the guys who were actually, got this thing going from day one. DJ and Bills, I don't, really get to speak to them as much because, we're basically branching off in our own ways. But those guys started this along, with me. And they're one of the main reasons why the show is the way it is. And I want to thank them and whatever they're doing, wish them all the best. Because I know DJ's still doing this podcast, whatever the case may be. I'm not sure if Bills is doing anything, as far as YouTube or podcast wise. But if he is, that he has, a phenomenal personality that's funny. He's very informative. So if he's out there doing anything, go support that. I may need to go look up and see if he is, because I think that's something that's, worth listening to, worth watching. Absolutely. So thank you guys as well for having this show the way it is. Without you guys, this 536 wouldn't even be close. Probably would have made it to, no telling what we would have made it to. But thank you guys. You guys are awesome. The guys who are constantly supporting, can't thank you guys enough. Watching the shows, commenting in the comment section, liking the videos, liking the podcast, give me a 5-star rating on that Apple Star chart. You guys spreading the word. It really means a lot. It really do. And it gave me some time to really reflect when I was moving here to realize, what we have here. It's not the biggest. I don't think it's the best, but I think I'm doing my best. And I think I give the best content, that I can. And that's all you can ask for. Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts if you want to listen at your leisure. Also on YouTube and Rumble. I'm going to get out of here, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully we have more stuff to talk about. And you guys take it easy, and you guys be blessed. Peace.